Alright, so today we're going to talk about a new deck building roguelike that just came out, and I'm going to butcher the name of this game, so I'm going to have this website pronunciation say it for me. So this is...
Krzyżacy.
How do you say that? Krzyzacy? Anyway, this is Polish, and this is the Knights of the Cross. Let me hear that again.
Krzyżacy.
Hey, please let me know down below if the website is saying this correctly. Alright, so I've played a lot of deck building roguelikes, and this one has a very interesting gimmick that I haven't quite seen yet, but is it going to be worth your time and money? Strap in, because I do have a lot to say about this one. So I'll be giving you a quick summary on the story, the gameplay, the good and the bad, and who would I recommend this game for. So let's begin with the story. This game tells the life and death struggles between the Polish-Lithuanian people and the aggressive Teutonic Knights of the 15th century, and this is all based on the Nobel Prize winning work. Of course, this one also has an anime aesthetic. Alright, so the gameplay. Okay, so listen closely, because though it's a simple game loop, there's a lot of mechanics. So the game has 7 arcs. Think of each arc as like a boss that you have to beat before the run ends, with 5 stages in between, and side quests as well. So basically, it's like this. Do side quest, do a stage, 5 of them, you beat a boss, some story happens, and then you repeat it over and over again, and that's pretty much the progression of the game. So you start with your main character. Throughout the game, you're going to get different party members. You can have up to 3 of them, and you can get them through recruiting them with money during the story, just through a shop, or like I said, through the story. You also have deck building in this game. You're able to freely switch out cards. These cost usually 0, 1, or 2 cards. You have 3 main colors to craft your deck with. This is red, blue, green, and then there's yellow and purple, which is primarily consumables and 0 cost cards that does not fit into there. So the colors here definitely do matter, because the combat, though it's very similar to like a Slay the Spire or Across the Obelisk, if you've played those before, basically your main character in the front, he plays a card for energy. Then you activate the effect on cards, whether it be defense, attack, applying buffs, debuffs, right? But however, this game has party members that are behind you. So think of it as like a mix of Slay and Obelisk, where you have a party member, but it's more simpler. The party members don't add cards in. Instead, they take damage for you when the enemies attack them, and they activate their skills depending on the different colors that you have played that turn. They have skills of, all the way from 1, 2, and 3. The first one always costs one color. It could be a simple color, like you play a green card, then they will attack or activate like a healing ability. However, if you are able to draw what you exactly need, like, okay, I got 2 blues, 3 reds, then they're going to activate their ultimate ability, and then you're going to go from there. But you have to kind of think about whether or not you want to use the cards themselves for really good effects, or use the powerful abilities that your team members have. And, you have to play around the risk reward and kind of do a lot of thinking there. So you can have up to 3 extra members, up to 4 enemies at the same time, but then more can trickle in. So let's talk about a little more of the roguelike portion of this game. So the in-between of the 5 stages for the arc bosses, and I mentioned there's 7 of them. You have different side quests you can do. These are completely optional. There's battles, random events for talking. You get random stuff like, oh, maybe someone will give you a consumable card. Maybe you increase the favor of a party member. And then you have a camp you can also go to. So this place has random NPCs, a healer, a recruiter to get different heroes, a shop to buy relics and cards, a deck thinner that makes it so you can lower the thing, because like this one does deck management a little differently. Instead of, let's say, you're able to destroy a card in your deck, no, as you amass cards throughout this run, you're building up a library, and you can have a minimum of 20, right? You can have like a bunch on the side, but you have to have a minimum of 20. But then if you purchase an upgrade from the deck thinner, the minimum now goes down to 19, 18, 17, all the way down to 12. So you can draw the specific cards you want, and you can always switch out the different colors. Alright, so that's basically the game in a nutshell. Let's talk about the good stuff and then the bad stuff. Good stuff first. I think the deck building combat here is very solid and top notch. Basically, each turn you draw cards, you look at the enemy intents, use cards with mana, and it repeats. But what makes it more above and beyond, and I think this game is a really nice step up if you do play Aspire. If you have played Slay the Spire and you played a ton of that, because it's that same gameplay, but with added strategy because of those party members. They can tank damage for you. They have extremely powerful skills. You have to think about which one to use, level 1, 2, and 3. Sometimes you don't even want to use a specific card because it'll activate their level 3, which does something completely different from their level 2. So you have to do all of that freaking thinking. The next really good point here is the meta upgrading. As mentioned, you have a complete freedom of deck building once you've unlocked more cards for that run in your library. Your color managing is depending on all of your members. So if you recruit a bunch of blue guys, you want to primarily have blue in your deck, so it switches out that way. You also have limited relics to swap out, so you cannot be completely overpowered. You have to keep on upgrading the different tiers of your relics and swapping out the bad ones. You can also promote your character to have a different skill. There's also like a sort of rage bar I didn't mention, but the more you attack and get hits, on the bottom left of the footage, you're going to be seeing those little percentage. Once it fills up, you can activate it to draw more cards, or you can change out his skill so he gets more mana, and then there's another skill you can get later. There's also a thing called talents. Now with this thing, this is a meta upgrade that persists through the rest of the game, even after the first run. So your character levels up and also your party members. But the party members, I don't remember if they actually do keep their levels throughout, but you definitely do. You're going to get a skill point to go on this little tree, and basically the tree is in 3 different paths: blue, green, and red. One's a little bit more for money, one's for defending and healing, and one's for just straight out damage, right? Okay. And I think one of the best things about this game for sure is the unlockable heroes. This is absolutely the highlight of the game. You can freely switch them out from story members, or even just, getting your favorite recruited members. You can get them to the shop. You can see the different tiers of them. There's like C tier, B tier, A tier. You can see all their skills, and every time they level up as well, their skills get stronger. Like, oh, you do 5 poison to all enemies, now you do 7 damage to all of them. And then they have like a max of like level 8, etc. This is so many things you can do with them, because the possibility with your deck, the colors you choose, the cards that you decide to put in, the limit of the different cards, and the spread of the cards, plus the different party members, you can tank with them, you can switch them around. There's just a lot going on there, and it has that really good feel of a JRPG, even though you're battling with cards. All right, so let's talk about the bad stuff. Here we go. All right, so the variety. Now, what do I mean by that? I did say that there is amazing variety in the heroes that you get, but that's pretty much it. It's really nice. You got mixing, attacking skills, healing skills, 9 skills per battle to use. But the cards themselves that your main hero uses, it is extremely limited. There is a surprisingly amount of very, very different cards that you're going to find in the game, and I think it's probably the biggest disappointment for me. Next up on very decent stuff, it's the story. It's not the greatest. I think you have to really, really be into this lore, but there's a lot of text dialogue. There's lots of segments and stories all over the place. It just feels like none of it matters because you're just trying to get to the really good gameplay, and it feels like you're just stuck in this sort of story that you're not super invested in. I'm sure some people will be, but for the most part, I have yet to play a really crazy, amazing deck building game that has a story that's just engrossed me, where I want to learn and do everything. But yeah, the gameplay is good, but the story, yeah, it's a little whatever. And another surprising, I guess, not great point is the length of the runs. This is not your typical Slay the Spire where you're gonna finish in like 30 to 60 minutes. I had a run, no joke, go about 6+ hours, and that's even with me skipping the dialogue. There was a lot of reading the dialogue at the beginning, learning the game, and then I played every single side quest, which have really helped your characters level up and get gold and all that stuff, and then you go through the acts. It's just very, very long, because battles, they're fun, but they could take a long time, but it's highly strategic. But the run lengths, you just have to know they're really, really long. Another thing that's bad, and this thing could be absolutely changed at any time. I played an early version, so when the game comes out today, as I am putting up the video, version 1.0, hopefully there's a lot of new extra stuff, because I know I was missing some stuff. I watched the trailer, and I saw that there was like animations for when enemy did their ultimates. I didn't have that in my version, and I didn't even mention what it was. Power spikes, the difficulty power spikes. You can play on easy, normal, and hard mode. If you play on normal and easy mode, you basically can play all the way through as a, you know, by continuing. If you lose a run like a couple hours in, it gives you like a little bit of a timer, like a fighting game timer where it counts down, and you can just press the continue button to keep going, and then it just rolls you back before you went into the battle, so you can keep doing stuff or go back to side quest. If you play in hard mode, for example, I think you're gonna lose straight out if you lose your main character, and if any of your party members go down to 0, they're dead for the run. But on normal and easy mode, they come back, and you can heal and all that good stuff. But yeah, random power spikes. It was extremely easy the first couple of hours, and then randomly, boom, a brick wall. Enemies are sponges, and they have the most insane skills that just everyone AoEs you and debuffs you and gets rid of things. And I do like the boss battles though, because they're actually a really good challenge. Not only do they have powerful, you know, just regular abilities, but then there's a sort of skill passive that everyone has a gimmick for. And one of the ones, I'm gonna let you know what it was. This was insane fights where they basically every single turn out of 3 turns, it locks a color. Like, oh, you can't use red this turn, can't use blue, can't use green. And that is the whole point of your deck and your party members. So it was extremely hindering and tough fights. So I do like the challenges, but yeah, the random power spikes. You know, every time you do a quest, right? Every time you do a main quest, every time you do a side quest, it has a little bit of star to show you the rank of difficulty. I found those stars did not reflect, for the most part, like 10% of the time, it did not reflect the difficulty of the battle and stuff like that. And if you guys want an example, like a really live example, I'm uploading all of this on my Let's Play channel. There's a link down below, you can check it out. I think it's like episode 6 or something, where I fight for like a straight hour on this boss, retrying it. It's freaking rough, man. All right, so with all that being said, the good, the bad, is it worth buying? Is it worth playing? And who should pick this up? Even with all my little grievances, I had a lot of fun with this, so I would say yes, this is absolutely worth picking it up. I'm looking at the Steam page right now. It's 15 bucks, dude, $15.99, and it has a 10% sale of 14 bucks. I think for the amount of content, strategy, and skill that you're gonna have and fun playing this game, especially if you like deck building roguelikes already, and you know you are okay with the long runs, you're okay with the anime style, etc., then yeah, I think this is a very good price, a good deal for this game. It's a good twist with the party members here, with the party members, and and activating their skills. I'm not gonna lie, it was really hard to wrap my head around it, but it became second nature after the first hour or so. That I was playing cards really fast, I was activating all their skills. It was really cool. But yeah, it's really rewarding, extremely rewarding battle system. You actually have to think instead of autopiloting. Oh, I have 5 mana, I'm just gonna use up all of my 5 cards. That sort of thing. You got to think about the colors, which to activate, craft the perfect deck, switching it around for specific battles, and it's just a lot of complexity. And it's not as much as like Across the Obelisk, like I mentioned, where you get 4 characters, you have to use 4 different decks. That's really overwhelming. So, but yeah, the biggest disappointment I did mention is the lack of actual different cards, because that is my favorite part of deck building. Finding and seeing new cards. I felt like after playing just a couple of hours, I was going into the shop, every single card was the same, nothing new, no upgrades that I needed. Every relic was dumb. I didn't need it, so you do hit a wall, of power later, but the enemies just get really crazy strong. And that also leads to another one of the complaints of power spiking. You get limited, There's only so much you can do before you get beat down. And even if you have all the meta upgrades, I think you're also, gonna get beat down. But once again, maybe they tweaked it during the update day 1 patch, so I'll be trying it out again. But yeah, like I said, full price recommendation. Just be wary of all the things I said. So if you guys enjoyed, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, please let me know down below. What do you guys think of the game? What do you really like? What do you dislike? Are you going to pick this up? Are you going to wait for a sale? Etc. I really want to know what you think. And check out my Let's Play of the game on the secondary channel in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.